Hello world, Joe Strout here with another coffee break coding. It's been a long time since I've done one of these videos because on Mondays I've been live streaming on Twitch, and if you'd like to check that out, I'll put the link down in the comments below the video. But today I thought it was a good time to get back into doing these YouTube videos because this morning my wife introduced me to Wordle, the game that is taking the internet by storm. Everybody's playing it. I tried it for the first time today and I was terrible at it. And I decided I needed some practice. And I've got MiniMicro right here, so why not write a little Wordle game in MiniMicro? I think we can do this pretty fast, and I hope you'll enjoy it. All right, so here we are with a fresh MiniMicro, and I'm going to start right in. Let's use Edit to get into the code editor. We're going to need a couple of utilities. I know that we're going to have a list of letters and keep track of which of those you've already guessed and what the results were, and then of course the word itself. We're going to need to get the word list. Fortunately, MiniMicro has a list of English words in the system data directory. So let's start with import modules that we're likely to need. List util for working with a list of words, and probably string util for doing stringy things. Let's start by clearing the screen. And let's see, we're going to be messing with the text color here because the way Wordle works, after you guess the letter, if it's correct, it's shown in green. If it's the right letter and in the right position, it's green. If the letter is in the word but not in the position you guessed it, it's yellow, and otherwise it's gray. And since we're going to be messing with the text color, let's define a standard color for everything that's not one of those letters. I'll call it prompt color. And we'll use orange, just because I like the orange and black theme. Of course, if you're following along at home, feel free to make these colors whatever you like. And we'll start by setting the text color to that. All right, now let's get that word list. Let's see, a comment first is always a good idea. What we want to do here is read the words, and then we want to filter it to only the 5-letter words. So we can get the words this way. Oops. File.read lines. And that word list is in sys data English words .txt. I'm going to save this now. Wordle. And then run it. I'm just hitting F5. And it cleared the screen. Let's see if we have words. I don't want to just type words and hit return. Well, all right, sure, why not? I have a spinning cursor here because it's currently trying to spit out every word in the English word list. That's a lot of words. And most of them are not 5 letters. How many words is it? It's 64,664 words. That took a while to print. So, next step, we'll go back into the editor and we'll filter that down. Because we imported list util, we have access to a handy function on any list called filter. And you give filter a function that it will apply to every element of the list, and if that function returns true, it'll keep it. If it returns false, it'll throw it out. And we can define that function right here. Function on a word. We want to return true if the word length is equal to 5. Now let's run again. Let's print out words.len. There's only 4,680. Let's just see how long that takes to print. Not so long. There are the last however many 5-letter words in the English language, according to our list. All right. So we've got our words. They're all 5 letters. Let's prepare the alphabet that we're going to need to display and a color for each letter. So let's see. Prepare alphabet and initial colors. Alphabet equals, I'm just going to type it out here, not do anything fancy. Did anybody sing along while I was typing that? I did in my head. All right, and then we need the colors. Alpha color, and that'll be a map. And then for every letter in our alphabet, I can't type today. We're going to set the alpha color. I guess I could have called it letter color, but alphabet, alpha color, it works fine. Alpha color of the letter is going to be initially, let's say, silver. So that will be the color representing letters that you haven't tried yet. Okay, and now we need a function to print out a letter, or maybe a whole series of letters, in the alpha color associated with each letter. So function to print a letter, or many letters, in the correct color. Print in color, we'll call it, is a function on letters, and we'll have it take a delimiter, which is what we want to print in between each letter, defaulting to space. By the way, when you see me do that trick, I'm holding the shift key and pressing return or enter, and it will automatically fill in this end function or end if or end for, whatever it might be. So that's how I do that. Okay, so how do we do this to print a series of letters? Well, we'll start by setting the text delimiter to the delimiter that was passed in. Then we got to iterate over the letters, the letter and letters. Scroll down a bit here. We're going to set the text color to the right color for that letter. So text color equals alpha color of letter, and then just print the letter. And then when we're all done, we're going to restore the text delimiter to the standard character 13, which is a line break, and we'll also restore the text color to the prompt color, which will be usually be the right thing to do. To test this, let's print in color our alphabet. All right, there's our alphabet all in silver color. So far, so good. Now let's pick a word. We're almost to the actual game itself. This will be the secret word that the player is trying to guess. And again, because we imported the list utils module up at the top, we can call on any list a function called any, which just picks a random element of that list. And we'll uppercase it as well, just because I think that looks better. So if we run this, and then we look at word, logger. Oops, we have to run again. Word, corms, I don't even know that word. Morn. Okay, so it's picking a random 5-letter word every time. All right, now we need a main loop. While true and end while. That looks like a main loop. So what's in the main loop? Basically, we want to show the player the current state of the alphabet, and then we want them to input a guess. And we're going to deal with their guess and repeat until they either get it right or they run out of guesses. Oh, so we should probably keep track of the number of guesses. Starting with 1. All right, so let's say, well, first we said we wanted to print the alphabet. In fact, we don't want to do this outside the loop. We want to do this inside the loop. So every time through, you get an updated version of the alphabet. Print a blank line. Actually, that won't be a blank line. That'll just be moving the cursor to the next line, because print in color doesn't actually do that. It'll leave it at the end of the line. So this print moves it to the next line, and then we need to get their input. I'll just call it imp. Imp equals input guess number plus your number of guesses, question mark. And then let's see. One of the rules of Wordle is you have to guess a real word. You can't just guess A, B, C, D, E. If you do, it tells you invalid word. So we should do that too. And our word list is all lowercase, so I'm going to lowercase your input. And then we'll say if not words.contains input or imp, then print invalid word and continue. And continue jumps right back to the top of the while loop. So it doesn't matter what comes after it. This will jump right up here and print your alphabet again and ask you to enter another input. So let's try that much. All right, so guess number 1. If I were to guess a real word like logger, it accepts it. But if I guess A, B, C, D, E, invalid word. All right, that's working so far. So hit Control C, edit. What's next? Okay, Now we want to start comparing your input to the word that we picked. So I'm going to convert the input to uppercase. Since our word that we picked, we're storing in uppercase. And we're doing that because our alphabet is all in uppercase. So now everything's in uppercase. Let's see. I want to iterate over the letters and print out each one. So we'll do text.delimiter equals empty space so that we don't get a line break after each print. And then we can do for I in, well, word.indexes. I mean, we could have done input.indexes. At this point, we know that the input and the word are the same length because if you'd entered some different number of letters, there's no way it would have been contained in our list of 5-letter words. So this is basically iterating over 0 to 4. I could have said range 0 to 4 here, and that would work just as well, but I like word indexes. All right, enough stalling. What are we trying to say here? Well, if our input I, which is one of these letters in the word that was typed in, is equal to, oops, word of I, which is the correct letter in our secret word, then we can set the alpha status of that letter to whatever color means correct. We'll try color green. Else, so if they didn't get the right letter in the right spot, but maybe they guessed the letter that still exists in the word, we can say if word.contains imp I, then. And this contains method is added to the string type by stringutils. So here's where I'm glad I imported stringutils. I got to tell you, these two modules are so commonly useful that I pretty routinely just import them in every new project, and rarely do I regret it. All right, anyways, if the word contains the letter, then we're going to set the alpha status to yellow. Otherwise, if it's not the right letter in the right place and it's not even the letter in the word, then we want to set it to a color that means you didn't get it right. And I'll just choose like a dark gray. Okay, and having updated the letter color, now we want to actually print the letter. So we use print in color, input I, and for a delimiter, we'll just use a empty string. Remember, print in color takes a delimiter. For the alphabet, we separate things with a space, but when we're printing the word, we don't want to do that. And then we got to, oops, this isn't right. I got my for and my in for and end if mixed up. This should be end if, this should be end for. There we go. So this is looping over all the letters of the word, printing them out. At the end, the cursor will be at the end of the row of letters, so we'll add a print statement. And let's try that much. Guess number 1. All right, chart. Well, that didn't work. Oh, it's not called alpha status. It's called alpha color. Okay, trying again. Chart. Hey, not bad. So this T apparently is the last letter of the word, and there's an R somewhere, but it's not the 4th letter of the word. So I could guess something like, I'm terrible at this game. Tramp. Huh. Well, I know where the R is now, but yes, it was supposed to end with a T. But it doesn't matter. Let's see what the word was. Twerk. Well, that's kind of an embarrassing word for it to randomly choose, isn't it? Oh well, that's the way it goes sometimes. Now, it's not keeping track of the number of guesses. It was always saying, guess number 1, guess number 1, guess number 1. So we want to update this guesses count here at the end. Guesses equals guesses plus 1. Let's see, what else do we need? Oh, there's another thing. Instead of having this version of the word with the proper coloring be all the way over here, I'd like it kind of to line up with your typing. So let's see if we can accomplish that. Before we enter this loop or the words, we'll just print result and a couple of spaces and see how that does. Oh, pretty close. I was just off by one. I want to add one more space here. Okay, so now this lines up with what you typed. I think that looks nice and neat, and it's also counting guesses. So let's see, parps, start. I'm really bad at this game. But the key thing is I can keep guessing things here. And it just keeps counting guesses. The game really is only supposed to give you 5 guesses. So let's make that happen. Oh, and let's also make it so that if you get it right, the game ends with a success. So let's see. If your input is equal to the word, then print you got it in guesses, and we'll break out of our loop there. Otherwise, if our number of guesses is equal to 5, then print too bad the word was plus word. And we also want to break out of the loop in that case. All right, I think that's it. Maybe we'll put a little message down here. Type or enter run to try again. In fact, here's a little secret. Since you've stuck with me this time, I'll show you. There's a method that the startup script on systems, sysstartup adds called Printmark, which will do this in a different color. Let's demonstrate that by itself. Oh. Yeah. Printmark. See, this is the same function that's used by, for example, the built-in help to do all these little green bits in the orange text. Okay, so let's try it. What's our first guess? Chart, because that's always my first guess. And now I'm going to actually try and get this word, and you guys can see how terrible I am at it. It's got a T and an H in it, but the H isn't the second letter. See, I would think it starts with TH, but the H is yellow here, not green. It could end in TH. 5-letter word that ends in TH. Death. Okay, it does end in TH, but it's not death. I'm really terrible at this. I give up. The word was sixth. Oh, that was a hard one. I'm only slightly embarrassed by that. Okay, and we should make sure that it works when you actually get it. So let's cheat and print out what the word is. All right, the word is spare. So if I were to guess chart, as usual, I'd be like, oh, there's an A and an R there. Maybe the word is spare. Hey, I got it in 2 guesses. There we go. And before I forget, no more cheating for me. All right, now, where can you take it from here? If the colors picked are difficult to see, you can certainly change the colors. You could start with the letters white, for example. If the yellow and green are too similar, maybe you want to make the yellow and orange. Or you could make the green brighter, make it a line. Let's see how that works. Now see, I have to actually get a word right to demonstrate the new green color. Hey, there's a green. Okay. And if I guess again and get it wrong, the word was pilaf. Man, this game is too hard for me. Maybe next time we'll demonstrate how you could write MiniScript code to cheat at Wordle. Because a computer knows all the possible 5-letter words, and you could give it the clues that it's got so far, and it could select the most likely word to guess next. That would be an interesting project in itself. But I think this is enough for today. I will put a link to the code in the comments below. I'll probably post it on the MiniScript forums. And of course, if you were following along, I hope that it worked for you. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Till next time, happy coding.